I have a huge problem. I love clean and aesthetic desk setups, but I don't know if they actually like me back. See, I change things out way too often to fit my specific workflow at that point in time, and I need my desk setups to do so many things at once. So this time, I'm gonna say it, I give up. I made a desk setup that's focused on being super functional and not minimal, and here it is. Let's talk about it. So why did I set it up in this very specific way? Well, see, my entire YouTube space is in a single bedroom in my home. This is where I record this sitting down shot, shoot product shots, test out new stuff, and store all of that tech too. So making space in this small room is a huge priority. If it's cramped, it makes it hard to do anything. And I'm a big guy, I just knock things over. So I want this desk setup to be compact, but it also needs to be easy to quickly set up and take down. Because if it takes 30 minutes both ways, spending an hour putting things up and taking them down wastes way too much time. I'm a solo creator with a little bit of help from my wife, so time is important. But I also need this desk setup to be able to shoot high quality audio and video. So everything behind this desk has to look presentable on camera. Basically what you're seeing right now. Does this shot look good? Or does it look like I'm your accountant about to do your taxes? So far, that's a lot to ask for. But again, I don't just record from this desk, but I also edit every video you see on this channel and focus on productivity, like researching the video topics for these videos, writing scripts, responding to emails, taking video calls, and whatever else people use their computers for. So it needs to be able to do all of that like any other setup. So let's talk about what I tried to do to get this desk set up to this point. While I think this is a little niche, more towards creatives, I think you can get some ideas for your own needs too, especially if you video conference a lot. So for this desk setup, I'm pairing an M4 Mac Mini with an ultra-wide monitor. The M4 Mac Mini is perfect for this because it's tiny, powerful, and has a ton of ports. It really stays out of the way. This makes it a great computer to be the brain of this entire desk setup while staying silent the entire time too. So this Samsung ultra-wide, or really any ultra-wide that you want to use, works great in this scenario because one regular monitor would not be enough room to efficiently work off of, and two regular monitors would take up too much space on this desk that I could instead use for all of my equipment. So a single ultra-wide, perfect. So believe it or not, the game changers for this setup are the Elgato prompter, which I'm reading off of right now, and the Elgato Stream Deck. So all my videos are scripted. Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not naturally this concise and charismatic. I fumble my words a lot, even with a teleprompter. A 15-minute video is usually like 40 minutes of recording time. So believe it or not, but what's great about this Elgato one is that it's all app controlled and moves the text based on the words that you're saying. A lot of teleprompters that I've tried and teleprompter apps on the iPhone just scroll at consistent pace, but that's annoying and honestly makes me feel very rushed and very, very stressed. Instead, having a teleprompter that follows my natural on-camera talking speed is great because it adapts to how I like to talk. It does fumble sometimes, but overall, it's a nice all-in-one solution because when you're not using it as a teleprompter, you can turn it into an external monitor too, giving you a very small screen to keep things like Spotify, Messages, or Finder open. It's also great if you want to look directly at someone during a video call instead of staring at an off-centered screen. So hypothetical situation, if you're presenting and want to look super professional, you could put the presentation slides right on the Elgato prompter screen that you can read off of and still make eye contact with the people on your screen. This is such a versatile teleprompter to use at your desk. Sadly, it's not so great in recording setups without a computer since it requires a computer to even use it. Also, it's kind of pricey, but in the teleprompter world, this is kind of a bargain. As for the Stream Deck, we all know what these things are, right? Instead, I want to talk about how I use the Stream Deck. The Stream Deck Plus controls everything that happens at this desk. It adjusts the teleprompter from teleprompter mode to desktop modes. It adjusts the gain on my mic, adjusts the brightness of my lighting, and I've created macros that open up every program that I need to start recording. I just wanted to be able to sit on my lazy butt at this desk and not have to fiddle with anything. Anything I need to change while recording can be done right here. And afterwards, I can turn off all the lights and reset my whole setup from here too. It's the control panel for this entire space and just makes it so easy to start and stop recording. The thing about a desk setup like this though, is that even with the dedicated camera in the corner, the software is finicky and doesn't always work the best. So you kind of need something great for just video calls, especially one that can track your movements. That's where today's sponsor, OBSBOT, the official partner of the Esports World Cup for 2025, 5 and their Tiny 2 Lite webcam comes in. This little guy has a half-inch 4K image sensor for clear video calls and has a bunch of cool features built directly into their dedicated desktop app to further fine-tune the image to your liking, like white balance, saturation, and contrast. Or if you need quick adjustments on demand, you can add controls of the webcam right onto your Stream Deck to quickly adjust its settings. Honestly, in my opinion, the more Stream Deck plugins, the better. You may have also noticed that this webcam can swivel and rotate. That's because it has some great auto tracking features like body part tracking, hand tracking, and zone tracking to make sure whatever part of you want in frame is always properly in frame. These tracking features are controllable through gestures, so you don't even have to touch anything to adjust some of the settings. I'll be real, I sometimes struggle with sitting too much while I'm at my desk doing work, and I end up not getting enough movement day to day. And so it's nice that I can adjust the light tube perfectly to adjust to me sitting or standing, just in case I do need to be on a video call. It also helps that it expands your range of movement at your desk because it tracks you, so you don't have to sit still at all to have the perfect shot. So if you're interested in the OBSBOT Tiny 2 Lite, check them out in the link in the video description below. They're having a Prime Day deal on this up until July 11th, and thanks again to OBSBOT for sponsoring this portion of the video. For this talking headshot, I'm shooting with the Sony A7C, and whenever I want to shoot overhead shot, I use a Sony A7S III. The Elgato teleprompter does get in the way of me viewing how this shot looks, so instead I use the Sony Imaging Edge app to view the main camera because I can't see what's going on otherwise. This lets me see how the entire shot looks, and I can adjust it depending on the situation. Sadly, no Stream Deck integration. Okay, what about after I'm done shooting? Since I usually use 2 cameras at once, that's at least 2 SD cards I have to offload onto my computer, and sometimes a third one if I already have product shots for the video that I'm editing. So I use this Lexar Workflow Go. It's this little dock with 2 ports that accepts modules that do different things. So right now I have 2 SD card modules in here to quickly ingest footage from all of my cameras at once. This cuts down on time waiting to offload an SD card. Again, this thing is modular, so you can use each of the modules separately, and you can back up your footage on the go with the mobile app that lets you control how footage flows to connected drives. It is expensive, and their first-party SSDs are overpriced for what they are, so I'm still trying to figure out if I can fit any third-party SSDs or 3D print adapters to make third-party SSDs fit. That would be really nice. I don't want to overpay. So using that Lexar Workflow Go dock, I ingest footage through here, and then the Mac Mini dumps it all onto my NAS, where I offload all the footage into different folders so that things stay organized and that I know where to pull from if I ever want to reuse any piece of footage, like this, or this. Since most monitor speakers sound like poo-poo, I decided to use the Kanto U2 for no reason except that I had these laying around and they sound pretty decent. They were gonna collect dust otherwise. But usually I just prefer to edit with earbuds or headphones in for privacy. For keyboards, I'm still rocking the Keychron Q1HE. I do really like these keyboards, but they feel like they're wireless in name only. I feel like I have to charge them in the middle of the week every week. If anyone knows any customizable mechanical keyboards with long battery life, please let me know. Because besides that, no real issues, but I am tired of charging the thing all the time. And as always, I'm using the MX Master 3 mouse because in Final Cut Pro, I like the ability to scroll sideways to quickly get to where I'm going in the middle of an edit. All right, so lighting. Lighting is tough because most of it is large and super bulky. They take up so much space that it's just a pain to deal with. So these big and bulky things are really not easy to adjust by yourself without having to reach behind them. So originally, I was using some Elgato key lights and they worked fine, and I liked the adjustability within the app, but there are no physical controls on those things. So if Wi-Fi wasn't working right, I couldn't adjust them at all. That's a major design flaw there. Also, the larger the light source, the better. So I wanted an even bigger key light for more coverage. And that's why I got this Amaran Verge Max. It's a giant flat LED light that adds a lot of light to this desk setup. You can adjust white balance and brightness directly on the front of the panel through the desktop or mobile app, or even through the Stream Deck, which is what I showed you a little bit earlier, like this. Ooh. So while this thing is kind of big, radius, diameter, width-wise, whatever you want to call it, it takes up very little space on the back end considering its size. If you use a traditional light, they have these big, bulky back ends that take up a ton of space. This thing, so thin and versatile that I can just adjust the light as I see fit for whatever I want to use this desk for. So I can use it as a key light, as a desk lamp, or a light for product shots on this desk. I use this light a lot. It was well worth it, and I'd recommend it over the Elgato Keylight. For the desk itself, I'm reusing the Secret Lab Magnus that I've been using before because it provides some fast cable management in the back, which I appreciate because as someone who constantly changes out their desk setup to add or remove things, it means that this desk will look more taken care of than it actually is for the time that I put in. It's a mess back there. But also because it's one of the quieter standing desks that I've used when you adjust the height. I put some casters on it because it gives me some flexibility to pull the desk in or out to adjust the entire setup if I absolutely need to. Okay, when you heard me talk about lights, you probably thought, Jimmy, why didn't you just put, your lights on some stands and just stick them out there? That would be way more easy and make your desk look so much better, right? Well, let me tell you something. When you're working with a small space, repeat after me, stands are not your friends. So if you try mounting everything on light stands, tripods, and C-stands, you end up with a cramped and very messy space super quick, and all that requires setting up and breaking down. Instead, I found it better to get things off the floor and mounted either to my desk or on these things, Varipoles. These are expandable poles meant for mounting camera equipment onto. So on the last desk that I used to record YouTube videos, I actually did mount everything directly onto it. But every time I would place my hands on that desk like this, everything would just lightly shake, causing these micro jitters to show up on the video. I hated that perfectly good shots were being ruined because I was causing earthquakes at my desk. So the main idea I had with these Varipoles was that I was going to take my main recording devices, so this camera, the overhead camera, and the mics, and remove them from the desk so that anything I record comes without those micro jitters. These Varipoles are so convenient because now I don't have to drill any holes into the wall, and they took like a minute to completely set up. The only downside is, in a room, in someone's home, it looks kind of out of place. It's got zero spousal approval factor. Ask how I know. Attached to these poles are Manfrotto magic arms attached to super clamps. This lets me mount arms along any part of the pole and adjust the angle to whatever is attached. Let's be clear here, these things are expensive for what they are, but I came away very impressed with them. They managed to hold a good amount of weight without breaking away from how I set them up, compared to some cheaper adjustable arms. I'm glad that it can carry that much weight because if anything falls, I could be breaking some expensive cameras or mics. So that peace of mind is worth paying that price tag. All right, so we're at the end of this now. How has all this come together? It's only been a few weeks and I've only tested the setup on a few different videos, but I think it's been going pretty well. Setup time is quick, just like I wanted. It literally takes me about 5 minutes to go from sitting down right here to beginning a recording session, and about 5 minutes from when I finish recording to ingesting my footage for editing. This has sped up my workflow so much and makes it easy to switch between recording and working off my computer. This setup also only really takes up the corner of this room, so the rest of the room can still look good and be used for, well, living. But that doesn't mean there isn't room for improvement here. Reducing echo is my biggest goal right now. Is it good? Is this audio decent? Please tell me it's at least decent. I put up some thick sound blankets behind the desk and I like it for this use so far. It cuts down a bit of echo, but I still have this big empty wall to the side of it that I don't know what to do with. I'm thinking either add another Varipole and use a sound blanket like a curtain, or just get some nice thick sound panels and call it a day. Either way, let me know what you think. I think the echoing would improve a lot just by adding really anything onto that wall. That entire wall is so empty, audio engineers must be ready to sue me for emotional distress. But yeah, that's how my functional desk setup for video recording, video editing, and productivity ended up. I'm still learning how to make more efficient use of this space, but what do you personally think? Are you making a functional or minimal desk setup for yourself? And if you are, how are you approaching it? Did any of my ideas help you in your own setups? Am I trying to do too much or too little? I'm always looking to improve, so let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.